You ever wonder how these massive companies manage to find that one tiny little error that's bringing their whole website down? Well, today we're going to dig into Splunk. It's this incredibly powerful data platform that honestly turns total digital chaos into crystal clear answers. Okay, picture this. It's 2 a.m., you're sound asleep, and the phone rings. It's your boss. The website is down. I mean, that is the call that every single person in IT absolutely dreads, right? It's a super high stakes moment. Every second that site is offline, you're losing money, you're losing customer trust. And yeah, this crisis, this is exactly where our story kicks off. So, okay, the website is down. That's the what. But the real problem, the billion-dollar question, is why? And to figure that out, you've got to start digging. Before tools like Splunk came along, people actually called this digital spelunking, and for good reason. I want you to imagine you're literally crawling through these dark, messy data caves with nothing but a virtual pickaxe. You're manually digging through endless log files on dozens, maybe hundreds of different machines. It was just so slow, so painful, and just wildly inefficient. And the raw material for all this spelunking? It's something we call machine data. The best way to think about it is like it's the digital heartbeat of your entire operation. Seriously, every server, every single click a user makes, every network device, they're all constantly talking, just chattering away, creating millions and millions of lines of text. It's a total goldmine of information. But the problem was, for the longest time, it was almost impossible to actually get to it. So that's the big question, right? How in the world do you find one single tiny answer buried in a mountain of messy, chaotic data? Well, this is where Splunk comes into the picture. It was basically designed to solve this exact problem. And the idea at the heart of Splunk was just brilliant and so simple. They thought, hey, instead of crawling through all these data caves, what if you could just search it? What if you could ask a question of all that machine data and get an answer right back just as easily as doing a search on Google? Okay, so here's the basic rundown of how it works, and it's really just three main steps. First, Splunk pulls in and indexes data from literally everywhere, all your servers, apps, you name it, and puts it all in one central spot. Then, and this is the key part, it uses this special language to turn all that raw noise into a clear signal. And finally, it shows you the answers in a way anyone can get, with charts, graphs, and dashboards. All right, that second step I mentioned, transforming the data, that is where the real magic happens. Splunk gives you this unique language that lets you actually talk to your data. It's pretty amazing. So just to give you an idea of what you're up against, look at this. This right here is the haystack. It's just a massive, chaotic wall of text from some web server logs. For a person trying to find one single error in all of this, it's like trying to find one specific grain of sand on an entire beach. It's just noise. But here's the thing, with Splunk's special language, it's called the Search Processing Language, or SPL for short, you don't even try to read the haystack, you just ask it a question. And this isn't some super complex code, it's really more like a sentence. This line right here is basically saying, hey Splunk, look in all my web access logs, find every single page not found error, and then tell me which pages are failing the most. And boom, just like that, you go from that insane wall of text to this, a clean, simple table that shows you exactly where the problem is. In just a few seconds, you've found all the needles in the haystack. So you can see how this power to get instant answers really changes the whole game. It stops being just about fixing what's broken. Now it's about getting a clear, real-time view of everything that's happening across the entire business. And those simple little commands we just looked at, they're basically the building blocks for so much more. They're what power those live dashboards that give you a constant pulse on your systems. They create charts that show you trends over time. And, maybe most importantly, they trigger real-time alerts that can warn you about a problem before it turns into another one of those 2 a.m. crisis calls. And what's so cool is how incredibly versatile this is. I mean, look at these two examples. On the left, you've got that classic data center emergency, finding one bad line and a config file in minutes to get the whole site back online. But then on the right, you have a totally different story. The marketing team sees this huge sudden traffic spike from a celebrity tweet. They notice the site search is bogging down, so they instantly promote that product right on the homepage. They turned a potential disaster into a huge sales opportunity. So why does all of this really matter? What's the big picture here? Well, because this is about so much more than just another handy IT tool. It really represents a fundamental shift in how a whole business can operate. See, Splunk was one of the pioneers of this whole idea called operational intelligence. And what that really means is realizing that all that machine data, the stuff that used to be dismissed as just for the techies, is actually a live, real time feed of your business's health. It becomes this new, unbiased source of truth that the entire organization can use.
And just think for a second about what that unlocks. All of a sudden, you can actually see the entire customer journey, not just the final purchase. You can connect the dots between what's happening on your website, in your call center, and on social media to get the full story. You shrink the time it takes to spot a problem from hours or even days down to seconds. And you can finally start making smarter decisions based on what's happening right now, not based on some report from last quarter.
And really, that's the core idea here. When you boil it all down, every single part of your organization is constantly generating data. It's always talking. It's telling you what's working, what's broken, and where your next big opportunity is hiding. So the only real question left to ask is, your data's talking. Are you listening?